Hey everyone, how you all doing? Welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited because I'm finally getting around to filming my mid-year book freakout tag. I look forward to filming this video every single year. You know, just doing a mid-year check-in, talking about some of my favorite books that I've read so far in the year. And unfortunately, I've just had a lot going on recently. You notice I have not uploaded in like over a month. I just had a lot of overwhelming things going on, and I don't want to talk about it. But it's just I've not felt like filming and uploading videos for you all, but hopefully I will have some exciting videos coming your way. I am very excited to be talking about some of my favorite books that I've read so far this year with you all. So without further ado, let's just get started because it is very hot in my room and I don't have a fan on and I am already sweating. So let's just get into it. The first question is, what is the best book you've read so far in 2024? So just another quick note before I start talking about these books is that there is currently a boycott, I believe, still going on for St. Martin's Press, where I am not allowed to review or talk about books from that publisher and its imprints. And unfortunately, there have been some books that I've read from them this year that I adore that I will not be talking about in this video. So I will be linking more information about the boycott down below because I do believe it is still happening. So unfortunately, there are some books that I would be talking about today if I could, but I cannot. So just keep that in mind, that there are some books missing from this video that I cannot talk about. So with that being said, some of my favorite books that I've read so far this year, they're both romance books. So first up, we have The Breakup Tour by Emily Wibberley and Austin Siegmund Broca. This is their third adult romance book, and I loved it so much. It's all about like a pop star, and she kind of like blows up into stardom, and her ex-husband is kind of taking credit for being the muse behind her top song at the moment, her like chart-topping song, and she doesn't want him taking the credit because he is not the muse. So she goes to her college boyfriend who is the muse, and she asks if he can go public as her muse for the song. So he agrees to help her if he can go on tour with her. I love books that deal with music. I love second chance romances. It's also kind of like forced proximity because they are literally sharing a tour bus, and it's just so beautiful. I love the end of this book as well. It was phenomenal. I tabbed it up a whole lot, and it was just a really fun read. I absolutely adore Emily and Austin's novels, especially their adult romances. I just think that they are so much fun, and this is definitely one that I see myself rereading a lot in the future, and I can definitely see this ending up on my favorite books of the year video at the end of the year. And then the other book that I want to talk about is Funny Story by Emily Henry. I feel like it's no surprise to me, or to you guys potentially, but definitely it's not a surprise to me that this is the answer for this question. I adore Emily Henry books so much. I'm pretty sure most of her books have been favorites for the year that I've read them. I'm obsessed with them. This one was no different. It's another kind of like fake dating one, but it's done differently than Happy Place, and it's also like not as in your face fake dating. It's much more low-key, which usually I don't enjoy. I love when it's like high-key in your face, like they have to like fool a whole bunch of people that they're together, but I really enjoyed it in this instance. I always struggle to remember how to describe this book because it's like quite confusing, but basically our main character, what's her name, Daphne, is engaged to this guy named Peter. He then breaks off their engagement so that he can be with his childhood best friend Petra, and because they end up together, he owns the house that he and Daphne live in, so he kicks her out. Daphne has nowhere to go. She ends up moving in with Petra's ex-boyfriend Miles because they're kind of both in the same boat. It's a very confusing premise, but it is so much fun. Just like the chaos of it all, it's amazing. I really loved the chemistry and the vibes between Daphne and Miles. Daphne is a children's librarian, which I adored reading about that so much. And then Miles works at like a winery, which was also a lot of fun. I really loved anytime we were in that kind of setting, and I just really loved the way that they interacted with each other. I love them so much, and I really want to reread this book. I also did tab it up quite a bit. I believe I also read this in a day because I just couldn't put it down. I do have a vlog where I was reading this book, so any vlogs that I have or any videos that I have mentioning these books, I will definitely link down below for you guys to check out if you've not seen them yet already. But I just really loved this book, and I was reading it at a time where I was kind of in a bad mood. I was kind of going through something, and I was kind of hesitant to pick this book up because sometimes when you're in that kind of a bad mood, it can kind of taint your reading experience, but this did the exact opposite. It pulled me right out of that bad mood. It made me feel better. It made me happy. I really enjoyed this book. So the next question is one I actually don't know if I've ever answered in a mid-year book freakout tag before, but it is the best book you've reread so far in 2024, and I love this question because I'm constantly rereading books, and I've reread my fair share of books this year, as per usual. I don't even know how many I've reread, but it's surely too many. But the one ones I specifically wanted to talk about today is the Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. I decided to do a Grishaverse reading vlog series this year. I've done it for the Shadow and Bone trilogy, the Six of Crows duology, and I am trying to do the King of Scars duology. I just haven't had time to pick those books up yet. Again, I will link down below the playlist for the Grishaverse vlogs because I will be talking about Shadow and Bone a little bit later in this video. But I really liked Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom when I first read them a couple years ago, but I had such a better appreciation for them this read through now that I was more familiar with the world, not only because I'd read these specific books before, but I'd also now read Shadow and Bone and I'd watched the show, so I had a lot more context going into it. I had a much better understanding of the world and the characters going into it, and I also now had the Crows actors from the show to kind of associate with the characters as I was reading, and that also really helped, and I really loved it. I had so much fun rereading these books. It was just a really great time. I have a really long vlog, like I said. You guys can go watch that if you want to know all my spoilery thoughts on the books. This next question I find that I always struggle with every single year, and unfortunately it's one that I would not have struggled with this year if I could talk about some books by St. Martin's Press, if they could just, you know, get their act together and, you know, whatever. So the question is best sequel you've read so far in 2024, and I don't have that many options that I can talk about, but I did read Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez recently, and it's like a companion sequel, but I am counting it. I really enjoyed this book. I also enjoyed Part of Your World, which is the first book, but I definitely enjoyed Yours Truly just slightly more, probably just due to the fact that it has fake dating, which, as we've established in many videos, it's my favorite trope, but it also has very good anxiety rep, which I really appreciated. So I really enjoyed that one, and I thought it was a really great companion sequel to Part of Your World. Bree, who is the main character of that, was also a side character in Part of Your World, and I really enjoyed her role in that book, and so I enjoyed reading from her POV and getting to know her a bit better. The next question is a new release you haven't read yet but want to, and for that one I'm going with A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. This book just came out a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not gonna lie, I was just on vacation and I saw it at both of the airports that I went to, and I'm not gonna lie, I was really tempted to buy it, but I have a plan. I always get Chapters gift cards for my birthday, which is coming up very soon, and so I'm just gonna wait until my birthday to buy it. But I'm really excited about that book. I don't even remember what it's about. I think the characters go into like a fictional story or something. I don't know. I love Ashley Poston's books, and I've really been enjoying her venture into adult romance the last couple of years, so I'm highly anticipating this book. The next question is most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and of course I have more than just one, so I have quite a few here. First we have The Great Dating Fake Off by Livy Hart. We all know how much I adore Livy Hart. This book I believe comes out on August 6th, and I'm literally dying. I'm so excited. It's fake dating. Livy Hart basically wrote this book for me. I'm so excited about it. We'll be reading it immediately once I can get my hands on it. The next book I actually have an arc for, and I unfortunately just haven't had time to read it yet, but I am hoping to read it this month before it comes out, also I believe on August 6th, and that is This Ravenous Fate by Haley Dennings. I am so excited for Haley. She used to post videos on YouTube. She's a booktuber, author-tuber, but she doesn't really post anymore, which is so tragic, but she is very active on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and I just adore her. We've been friends for a very long time. Basically the entirety of my YouTube journey we have been friends. It's been so beautiful getting to know her and watching her on her writing journey. But this book's about sapphic vampires, vampire hunters. Very excited to read this book. And I'm also anticipating Us in Ruins by Rachel Moore, even though I will admit I just read this recently. She sent it to me and it was so good. Absolutely beautiful. You guys are not ready for this book. Oh, it's just it's amazing. So I just can't wait to have a physical copy in my hands. And then the last book I want to talk about is The Wedding Witch by Erin Sterling, which is the third and I believe final book in the like X-Hex series. I don't know if that's the official title of the series, but the X-Hex books. This book I think has gotten pushed back a couple of times. I'm pretty sure I talked about this last year as well, but I'm very excited for this book. The next question is your most read genre, or a genre you've read more than usual. And for me, I went through my bullet journal. I tried to count up the genres as best as I could, and I think with roughly like 28 or 30 books, fantasy is my most read genre of the year. I think it was very close to either YA contemporaries or romance books, but I've really been trying hard to get back into a fantasy era this year, and I feel like I've like somewhat succeeded. I've read a lot of fantasy this year and I've really enjoyed, I think, most if not all of the fantasy books that I have picked up this year, which feels like a total win for me. The next question is biggest disappointment so far this year, and I don't want to linger on this one too much because I have talked about it before and I don't like to be negative on my channel, but it is A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. However, I think my expectations for this book were just a little bit too high, especially following The Ballad of Never After. Unfortunately, it just didn't live up to the other two books in the series. I didn't love that we had two other POVs in this book next to Evangeline's. It just didn't really work for me, and then in general I just didn't love the audiobook for this one, which is so heartbreaking. I still enjoyed it, but I just definitely didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. The next question is biggest surprise of the year so far, and for that one I chose Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. And the reason for that is because I actually never really expected to read this book. I did try to read it like years ago, like I think close to the beginning of my like booktube journey, and I just couldn't get into it, and then I just kind of like wasn't gonna read it. But then I watched the show after reading Six of Crows and I really liked the show, so then I kind of got more interested, and then I had the idea to try to re-enter my fantasy era this year, to do a spoiler reading vlog where I read the series, and I had so much fun with it. Now, I'm not obsessed with this series. I do think I in general just enjoy the show a bit more, but I had so much fun reading the books and doing that vlog, which like I said will be linked down below, and I'm just honestly surprised that I enjoyed it at all. Like, I'm super happy about that because I was honestly really scared that I wasn't going to like it. So I'm pleasantly surprised with this one. The next question is favorite new author, debut, or new to you. I struggled with this one a little bit, but I think I'm gonna land on Abby Jimenez. I don't feel like super strongly about this, but I have read two Abby Jimenez books now, Part of Your World and Yours Truly. I want to read Just for the Summer very soon. Peyton actually just bought me a copy, so thank you so much, Peyton. But I really enjoyed both of the books that I read from her. So out of the options that I had for new authors this year, or at least new to me authors, this one was the best option. The next question is a book that made you cry, and I've actually had quite a few books make me cry this year, but the one I want to talk about is Lost in the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas. This was our Best Season book club pick, I believe, for January, but this one deals with some very upsetting topics, and it was something that like I should have seen coming throughout the entire book, but I think I wasn't letting myself think about it because I didn't want it to be true. I didn't want it to be this thing that happened, and then it happened and I sobbed. So, you know, and I still think about it all the time. It makes me incredibly sad, just the way that everything is like revealed and you find everything out. It's so sad. But yeah, definitely cried during this one. It was not a good time, but I love this book. It was really good. The next question is a book that made you happy. And I kind of already mentioned this when I talked about the book earlier, but Funny Story by Emily Henry. Like I said, I was going through a bit of a hard time, was not in a great mood, and this book, thankfully, it took me right out of that bad mood, brought a smile to my face. But this book was really just such a great escape for me, to escape into the story with these characters and just not think about everything that was going on in my life at the time. And I'm super grateful to Emily Henry for writing such fun, lighthearted books. Even though they do like deal with like heavier topics, they don't feel heavy, and I just really appreciate that about her books. So this book definitely made me happy this year, and I'm so grateful for it. The next question is favorite book to movie or book to screen adaptation that you've seen so far this year. I feel like I've seen a few, but not many where I've actually read the book, so I did want to try to pick one where I read the book, and I do think that overall this might just be my favorite in general, and that is the Percy Jackson and the Olympians show on Disney+. I was pleasantly surprised by this show. I was actually kind of shocked with how like excited I was for it and how much I was anticipating it, considering I like the books, but I'm not like obsessed with them. I don't own them. I'm just like not the biggest fan of them. I do like them. I like the characters first and foremost. I'm just not like a huge Greek mythology person, and I feel like I just can't fully connect to the books because of that. But I actually really loved the show. It was such a fun experience as well. I feel like the experience watching it also really helped. Watching it week to week, my friend Lorena is obsessed with Percy Jackson, and so every week we would leave each other voice notes of our thoughts about the show. Since she is more familiar with the books than I am, she would tell me what was different from the books to the show, and also how it differed from the movies that came out forever ago. And it was just like a really fun time, really fun experience all around. We also did have a sleepover where we binge watched the show together, and that was also a lot of fun. I just think it was really well done, and I'm really excited for the second season. And also the show films here where I live, and that just makes it all the more fun. The next question is a favorite video that you've done so far this year, and I feel like I've been struggling with my channel a little bit this year in terms of just like viewership, but also just like motivation and excitement. But I have made some videos this year that I love. So we have my 2024 reading journal set up. I've also really loved my Grishaverse vlogs, the Shadow and Bone and the Six of Crows one. They're very long. They might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I had a lot of fun making them. I really love my Taylor Swift book recommendations video. I put so much work into that video. It took me so long to edit. I don't even know how many hours I worked on that video, but it was far too many. Again, I'm gonna link all these videos down below. And And I also loved my ultimate book video as well, which is just like a little fun reading vlog where I just did a whole bunch of bookish things. It was a lot of fun. The next question is the most beautiful book you've bought or received so far this year. And I had a hard time with this one because I couldn't remember what books I bought this year and what books I had bought in at like the end of last year. So I just went with The Last Love Song by Kaylee Holford. This is Kaylee's debut novel. It came out this year. I read it a few times before. I also have the ARC up there, which I think I got last year. But this is the final copy, and it is so much prettier than the ARC because it's like embossed a little bit, like the letters are raised, and it's just so beautiful. It's a little bit thicker, I believe, than the ARC, and it's just really, really cute. I just love the cover design of this book and like the little like nods to things that are in the book. It's a really pleasing cover to me. I love the colors. It's just a lot of fun, and I'm just so excited for Kaylee. If you guys have not read this book yet, I highly recommend it. And then the last question I will be answering today is, what books do you want to read by the end of the year? I have a lot. I decided to go with a new release and then one that is on my 2024 TBR, my 24 to read in 2024 TBR. And I'm pretty sure it's a book that I mention in too many TBRs. Probably have mentioned it in this very video before in years past. And that is Chasing Lucky by Jen Bennett. I don't know why I keep putting this damn book off because I'm so excited about it. And I love Jen Bennett. She has yet to disappoint me. I've loved all of her books that I've read. And this one came out years ago, and I've not let myself buy or read any more of her books until I read this one. I don't know why I've set myself this weird rule, but that is what I've done. And I've not read it, and I need to because I know I'm gonna love it. It sounds like everything that I'm going to love and adore. And I actually think I'm gonna read it next week. So hopefully this will finally get read and you guys will not hear me talk about it in another TBR unless it is to reread it. Then the other book I really need to get to is With a Little Luck by Marissa Meyer. I have started this book already. I got up to page 78 and then it put me low-key in a little bit of a reading slump. Not because the book is bad or anything, I just wasn't in the mood to read it. I wanted to read other things. And also her contemporary books are not my favorite in comparison to her other novels. And my big issue with Instant Karma was like the magic system and how it felt like it didn't need to be there. And so I was really worried about this one, which is a companion sequel to that one. But I like this magic system even less than the other one because basically he just gets like a bout of good luck. So everything right now is going his way and it's honestly not very exciting to read about. So I'm kind of putting this one off because I'm scared that it like won't come around in the end. I'm sure it will. I trust Marissa Meyer. I really do. But I do really want to get to this one really soon. So hopefully I can get to it this summer. I do feel like it's a good summery read, so hopefully I can get to this one very soon. Okay, I need to wrap this video up because I'm so warm right now, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up. Comment down below and let me know what some of your favorite books that you've read so far this year. I'd really love to know. Subscribe if you've not yet already, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!